time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from the Golden Q in Hayes. The Golden Q, dining, billiards, and a whole lot more. 2 blocks east of campus. The Golden Q. If the game is on, we're open. Tiger Talk is also brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, and compassion, all right here. Adams Brown, strategic allies and CPAs. BTI, your John Deere dealer in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. You've never had it so good. G&L Tire and Automotive, complete automotive service and repair, and tires for all driving needs.
And a good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome into Tiger Talk. This is voice of the Tigers, Gerard Welbrock, joined by head football coach Chris Brown. We're glad to have you aboard here on a Tuesday edition of the program. No program on its normal Monday because of the Labor Day holiday, but we're back here on Tuesday, just a couple of days away from week 2 for the Fort Hays State Tigers. They'll be on the road in St. Joseph, Missouri, taking on the Missouri Western State Griffins, and another big matchup this Thursday night. Tigers coming off a tough one in their home and season opener last Thursday. Great crowd, great atmosphere, but the Tigers come up short 15-7 to the 4th-ranked Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. And we'll talk about that game. We'll preview the Griffins and look around the MIAA and a whole lot more. We'd like to hear from you. You can submit a question. You can go to the Fort Hays State University Athletics webpage, FHSUathletics.com. And if you look for Fan Zone, it's on that front page. Hover over that. There'll be a drop-down menu, and you'll see Tiger Talk. Click on that, and you can submit a question. If we use it, you'll be in a drawing for a $25 gift certificate from the Golden Q. So a chance to win some free food from the Golden Q. All you have to do is ask a question for the coach, and anything you want to ask him. We'll see what the coach answers, but we'd love to hear from you here on Tiger Talk. Again, live at the Golden Q in Hayes. The game's on. They're open. Tigers dropped their opener 15-7 last Thursday to Northwest Missouri State as Coach Brown joins us. Great atmosphere. Again, it was really another defensive battle. It's amazing. I guess the game in 19 was a little bit more offense, but another great game. I mean, and I guess when you sit back and reflect, it was the 4th-ranked team in the country, and we're nitpicking a few plays here and there, and it may have been and probably would have been a different outcome. Just your general thoughts on the season opener and the opener on Thursday night last week.
I just want to say thanks to our fans first. I mean, that was a tremendous crowd for Game 1. The enthusiasm, the excitement, not only in the stands, but, that gives us energy on the football field as well. But I just want to thank them for being there and supporting us. Sorry we didn't get you the win, but, it was a good fight. It was, our defense did very well. Their defense did very well as well. But, it was tough on us, starting inside the 8-yard line or the 10-yard line like 8 times of our drives, and those things happen, but we got to get out of those situations and score. But it was a good football game. You look back at the last 4 meetings, and it's been a battle for both teams, and it's been a good battle. It's been a great way to start the season too, so it kind of lets us know exactly where we're at, and I think we're in contention to hopefully make a run in the playoffs. But that we got to worry about this next game first. But I'm proud of our kids. They worked hard. They played hard. They didn't give up. They didn't quit. And they did the things we asked them to do. We just didn't get the W.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back and just a handful of plays, and obviously offensively it was a bit of a struggle in the first half. Couple drop balls, and you mentioned the field position. Your first 3 possessions, your own 1, your own 11, and your own 1. I mean, that makes it tough. We talked about it on the air. It's very reminiscent of the Ferris State playoff game in 18. It's just obviously your playbook condenses a little bit when you're at your own 1. You just can't. There's certain things you're kind of held to, and then the safety on that very first offensive play, you're playing an uphill battle the rest of the night.
Yeah, you are. You go into a game with a plan and your top 10 plays and how you're going to start the game. But once you start on the 1-yard line, that kind of goes out the door, and you got to figure some other things out. And the safety did hurt, but there's a couple of things there. If we make a couple of blocks, we might get 10-15 yard gain, and then we're rolling down the field. But it didn't happen out for us that way. But we'll be all right. I believe in these kids, and I believe in our coaching staff and the things that that they're doing, and the work ethic that they have, and the preparation that they do on a weekly basis to continue to get better and hopefully win some games.
I thought your team showed a lot of fight. I mean, there was a couple times you felt it was maybe slipping away, but they kept grinding and kept battling and really gave themselves a chance to the very, very end.
Yeah, we did. We fought and scrapped, and that's just kind of the way these kids play. They never give up. They always play hard. They believe they can win the game until the very last horn, and that's just the way our kids are. We know we can win, and we're going to battle to win every single game, and that's just the way, that's just what we're going to do, and that's just kind of how the culture that we've built here now is, we expect to win, and we'll find ways to do it. We'll find ways to get it done, and our kids just keep doing the things that they're doing right now to make themselves better.
What was the emotion like leading up to the game that day? The pregame warm-ups, just having not had the season in 2020. What was all that like? Could you sense a difference?
A little bit, because usually as a coach I'm really nervous and anxious, and all these things are going through my mind. But for me, this first game was excitement. It was having this opportunity to actually step on the field and actually play a football game, and it was fun. It was enjoyable, and talking to Coach Wright, at Northwest, he felt the same way. He's like, this is different. Just this opportunity to play, and it's more of we're both kind of more calm than we normally are, but it was just, we were thankful for this opportunity to play this game again because, it was taken from us. And, I think the kids were the same way. They were excited, and we had to control their emotions a little bit because they're going through a little bit something different than those coaches are, because they're getting ready to really go to battle. But, our kids were ready. They were excited. They were energized. They were just ready to play football again, and it was something that they truly did miss.
And you mentioned the crowd. I mean, there were times it was loud. I mean, Louisville was as energetic and rocking as I can remember. There's been some great crowds and some great atmospheres, but that was second to none, I thought, last Thursday.
It was. They knew exactly when to cheer third downs. They were really loud. When we had the ball on offense, they did things, cheered us on. But, it was just exciting to feel that, and your hair just kind of stand up on the back of your neck. When you hear the crowd talk like that, and just the anxiousness, the anxiety, the excitement, all those things going to play at one time. But just that crowd was tremendous. The student section was tremendous as well. I mean, that's probably the most students I've ever seen, at one of our football games. And Northwest brought a few fans as well. But it was a great atmosphere, and hopefully we can continue to build on that.
Well, Tigers come up a little bit short. We'll talk more in detail about the ball game. We'll eventually preview this Thursday night, a couple of nights from now. The Tigers will be in action in St. Joe, taking on Missouri Western, another big matchup at Spratt Memorial Stadium. Tiger Talk is brought to you by the Golden Q. That's where we are for the program. Love to see you out here. Normally on Mondays, 12:15 until 1 o'clock, but a special Tuesday edition because of Labor Day. The Golden Q, if the game's on, they're open. More Tiger Talk after this on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wurtenberger Construction. Are 1 for 3 tonight. They have it at the Tiger 44. Right to throw. Under pressure. He's hit and goes down. Another sack. It's Perez, the Larned freshman. It's 4th down. It'll be a loss of 7 back to the 50. And Tiger Talk presented by Adams Brown. They do more than just run numbers and file tax returns. They work hard to become strategic allies. Adams Brown, Strategic Allies, and CPA. Some of the action from last Thursday night. The Tigers falling 15-7 to Northwest Missouri State. The defense, kind of the old bend but not break, and that was one of the big question marks going into the game, going into the season. That young defense, young and inexperienced, some older guys who were thrust into starting roles for the first time in their careers. Some young dudes. We heard Perez, Mason Perez out of Larned, a redshirt freshman, in on that tackle. It just felt like as the game went along, they kind of got used to it a little bit. Obviously holding Northwest to 15 and really 7 until they scored that one really, really late. Thought the defense played well. Yeah, just curious your thoughts on how they did, and especially some of those young guys in that pretty big stage to start their careers.
They did do well. It was a big stage for, a lot of guys, on offense, on defense. But I thought defensively, we're really, really young, especially in the secondary. Linebacking core. I mean, Lake Heimer doesn't have a lot of, games underneath his belt as well. And Miles Menges, who was a quarterback in high school, getting his first start as a linebacker. And then you'll see those guys in the secondary, like Ty Cooper and Mason Perez. I mean, those guys haven't hardly played much at all. And Jaquaylin Brown. And, I mean, it goes on and on. But you do have some older guys there, too. Jordan Starks and Jarman Preston, and on the D-line we got Javar Sanders and Sterling Swopes, who have a lot of playing time as well. But I thought our defense played really good. They didn't break. They bent a little bit but didn't break, and it's a little bit just on first down. We got to do a little bit better job of making it 2nd and 7, 2nd and 9 instead of first or your 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, which we're in a lot of those situations, and it's hard to get stopped. So when you get in that situation, but overall, I thought our defense played really well.
Well, you forced them to punt their first 3 possessions and kind of the bend but not break. You got a couple of big sacks in there, and even though maybe first down wasn't to your liking as much, they were some big-time third down stops and got a little bit of pressure on Wright.
Yeah, they did. And Coach Harris has some great calls. He puts a lot of time in, him and his staff, to figure out how to stop these offenses in this conference, which are very high-powered offenses, and score a lot of points. And they did a good job of getting pressure on the quarterback and making him rush or getting the sack as well. So, hats off to those guys for what they did.
They had the long drive, their first possession of the second quarter, really the only drive of the game. 13 plays, 58 yards, took over 7 minutes. And Al McKellar, obviously, you got a big dose of him at the playoff game at UIndy. In some ways, you could say he was maybe the difference. He's a legit player, and he was a loadful for you guys.
He is a very good player. I mean, I didn't realize how big he was. So I saw, I stood there on the field and looked at him in person. I was like, man, this kid is a big kid, and he's strong, and he's fast, and he's powerful, and he runs physical. And, I figured we'd probably get quite a bit, a few doses of him, through that game, and we did. And, he runs hard, but our kids did a good job of wrapping up, tackling, and really not giving him a huge play, because a lot of times in those games he breaks those open and gets to the end zone. Our kids didn't allow that.
Offensively, it was a bit of a struggle, especially in the first half. I mean, were you surprised a little bit? I mean, just with as many people coming back on that offensive side of the ball, Chance Fuller, the receiving core, it just felt like it took them a while to get on track.
It did. I mean, there's still some things there that we just, catch a few balls, hit a few holes, those type of things. But, when you look at it, Chances, we had 3 new backs. I mean, the only one that really came back was Soto. The other guys are new. Receiving core was Manny, and Budke. That's really the 2. But then you had, Josh and Bama and a few others that really haven't played a lot for us. So the timing was off just a little bit, and then understanding where they needed to get to. But to me, it was the drop balls. That's the biggest part of it. And then Chance, putting all the pressure on himself and all the blame on himself. I was like, man, you can't catch those balls for him. You made the throws you need to make, and you'll be all right. You're going to be fine, and he'll be good. He'll be fine. But I'm proud of our team and the way they played this entire game.
You mentioned Bama. Those folks don't know Montario Birchfield. Huntsville, Alabama, thus the nickname Bama back. He was with you earlier and then took a little hiatus from football, and now he's back in a Tiger uniform, and I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you he dropped a couple of balls that he should have made. We've seen him make big-time plays in his year prior with Fort Hays State, but a guy who obviously can help you and obviously still has a lot of game in him, and it's, I guess when you've sat out that long, almost 3 going on 4 years, yeah. I'm sure there had to be a little bit of rust and just a little bit of getting acclimated with game speed once again for him.
It wasn't, but you did see him. He did make some really nice plays, in that game. Had 2 big catches for us, and then the other ones, those are balls he normally catches, you know, and it's just, you know, trying to probably run before he actually got the catch of the ball and getting vertical. But, you know, he's an explosive player. He's a strong player for us. He's a tremendous wide receiver, and he's only going to get better as this year goes on. It's just getting reacclimated to the game of football. You know, when you sit out that long, it's hard, and especially playing in a game situation, you know, against Northwest, you know, game one, that puts a little bit more pressure on you as well. But, you know, I got all the faith in the world in that young man, and he's going to do great things for us.
Well, you call him a young man. He's 26. I know he had birthday during camp. He's not as young. I mean, I guess we used the word veteran wide receiver. It really applies to him.
Yeah, it does. But when you get as old as I am, you know, now all these young guys are young now, so we just call them young men. So, I don't know. He's going to be good. He really is. He's going to. The rust is off. He's ready to roll, and he knows he has great potential. He knows he can do some great things. He's got all the confidence in the world. He's going to make the plays now.
And the running game, and we talked a little bit about that. Struggled 48 yards rushing. Obviously, it's an area you felt you'd be better at this year, and probably an area you have to be better at if the offense is going to perform to, I'm sure, what you're expecting and hope they can do. Got to be able to run the football. And it was tough. You had a few glimpses of it, but it was hard to just consistently maintain that running game.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, with a few new faces, you know, you still got Pat Kelly and you got Amari, you know, but then the rest of them, you know, haven't really played a lot for us. You know, when you look at Tyler Levitt played for us, Thule played for us. David Anderton played for us, Nick Gossage, Toby Godwin, Chris Strouder. I mean, tons of guys, you know, played a lot. And they played a role on that offense, and it's getting used to one another, understanding one another, and that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, knowing when you're going to come off the double team and getting your reads and your calls and your checks and all these different things that go into playing O-line, I didn't realize how much it was until I started coaching tight ends, of all the work that they had to put in. But it takes a little bit of time. But I truly believe that sooner than later, our run game is going to be pretty good.
Well, and I know in the preseason, you worked a lot of offensive linemen trying to determine who's going to be the starting five and how you're going to go all about that. And even in the game, you had, I don't know how many you played up there, but you probably played about 8 or 9 different players. Is it still a work in progress to kind of figure that unit out, or is it going to be just who's playing well on that particular day?
It's probably who's playing well on that particular day is what it's going to come down, which is good. Mm-hmm. You know, we need that depth at our O-line because we've never had that. But it's, you know, we're going to find the guys that's going to give us the best chance to win, and whichever 5 of those are, well, those are the guys that are going to play. And hopefully those guys keep competing for that starting spot, because if they do that, each one of them is going to get better day in and day out. But it's going to be a process, and hopefully as we go through the next few weeks, we figure out who our guys are.
Keelan Chapman got dinged up a little bit. Do you have an update on his status at all, or are we still waiting to see?
Still waiting to see. You know, with the holiday and everything going on, it's kind of hard to get into the doctors, but we know we're doing the treatment that we need to get done on him right now that we can, and he'll see the doctor today, and we'll kind of figure out what's going on from there.
Tristan Tucker, a senior transfer, played on a playoff team in Harding. In fact, scored the only touchdown that Harding scored against Northwest when they played in the playoffs 2 years ago. Felt like he kind of had a slow start, but as that game went along, I guess to be expected with the new program, felt like he ran the ball a little bit better.
Yeah, he did, and you know, his first game with us, you know, and actually playing a true tailback position besides one of those little, you know, they had that little wing T option play that they had at Harding, so he's more of a sweep guy for them. But now just being able to see, you know, the holes and seeing the blocks and those things, that takes a little bit of time. I mean, you can do it in practice, but it's not the same as it is in the game. But again, he's one of those kids as time goes along, he's only going to get better, and you know, Soto's going to get better as well.
Well, you mentioned Adrian Soto, the returner, a sophomore from Pueblo, had one career carry, went for like I think a 64-yard touchdown in Northeastern the last game in 2019. He caught the touchdown pass, but I think you can kind of see, and in the return game as well, how dynamic and athletic and quick he is. Excited to see where his career goes, but you kind of got a taste of it on Thursday.
Yeah, he did. He's got great vision. You know, he sees things very well. He sees blocks. He sets up blocks. He knows where the cut's going to be. You know, and then he's a great threat in the pass game as well. And that's your all-around back that you're looking for. And I do believe, you know, if we need him in pass protection, he's going to be able to do that too. So it's going to be a battle between those three. Who, you know, towards the end of the season, who is our guy and who wants to be the guy. And you know, I think he's going to battle for it and fight for it. And you know, he's going to be the one to be the starter.
And if that's one thing you have, maybe. And I don't know if it's because of COVID not having the year, but it seems like you have more depth and more competition at all positions than maybe you've ever had in your time as Fort Hays State's head coach.
Yeah, we do, and it's on both sides of the ball. You know, you look at our secondary. I mean, we've got a lot of young guys there. D-line's probably another place that we probably need to get some more depth at, but everywhere else you look across the board, I mean, there's competition to be the starter, and to be a great program, that's what you need, because guys competing day in and day out for that spot. Who doesn't want to be the starter? So you got to fight and compete and battle every single day, and hopefully take somebody's job, and that just makes us better.
Tiger Talk brought to you by the Hayes Orthopedic Institute. Expertise, technology, and compassion all right here. The Hayes Orthopedic Institute, they're the official team physicians for Fort Hays State Athletics. We're live at the Golden Q in Hayes, 2 blocks east of campus. If the game's on, they're open. We'll have more Tiger Talk when we return here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Fact: 8th Street Liquor is where good times start. Next fact: 8th Street Liquor has the best selection and prices on beer, liquor, and wine. Okay, I don't want to bore you with all the facts, but the fact of the matter is, you just can't get better than 8th Street Liquor. Yep, 8th Street Liquor, where good times start. That's the fact. Jack? Oh yes, they have plenty of Jack too.
Back to pass is Fuller, looking, goes deep downfield for Birchfield, and he makes the catch. 40, 35, 30, down to the 27-yard line. 1st and 10, Fort Hays State. 52 yards from Fuller to Birchfield. That was one of the big plays on Thursday night by Montario Birchfield, affectionately known as Bama in these parts. He had a couple of big catches, and one of them setting up a Fort Hays State touchdown. Tiger Talk presented by Golden Belt Bank, here to make every story shine brighter. It's the way they do banking, one story at a time. Check them out at goldenbeltbank.com. Tigers falling 15-7 in their opener last Thursday to Northwest Missouri State. They'll be in St. Joseph this Thursday night, a couple of more nights away, and they'll be taking on the Griffins of Missouri Western. We kind of touched on it, but field position was a tough deal. I mean, you look, your own 1, your own 11, your own 1. Second quarter, not as bad, 35 in the 26th, and your own 22, your own 20, your own 1, your own 2, your own 19, your own 22, your own 24. That's tough, and while, yes, they had Hohensee did a good job punting for them. Some of that is, defense maybe getting stops, offense not flipping the field, even, on possessions where you move the ball a little bit. So it's maybe not just 1 or 2 areas, but it's a kind of a collective situation. But that obviously makes things tough when you're pinned that deep and having to drive that far every time.
Yeah, it is, and it's just us working together, as a team. Whether defense, getting a 3 and out so we get a short field, or, they give a few yards and then they kind of pin us inside the 20 or the 10. Offense getting a few more first downs, and then the special teams punting it away and pinning them deep. And, that's what they did all night. Northwest was able to do those things. Even the quarterback pinned it inside the one time on one of his little quick soccer kicks. But, their punter was tremendous. He did a great job. He did an excellent job of putting us inside the the 2-yard line a number of times, and we got to work together as a team. I mean, the first game, it's been a long time, no excuses. Of course, I'm gonna put all the blame on myself. I mean, there's nothing on the kids, but we got to get better in all facets of the game and work together.
Kicking game obviously was a big factor in the game. You miss a 39-yard field goal in the second quarter, and then that 50-yarder late, which just came up a little bit short. And for years it was just you didn't worry about it. We've kind of touched on this before in the program, but it's been probably over a decade which you didn't worry about the kicking game, and not that you worry about it, but obviously there's some growth to go there. Concerns with the special teams? Is that something that can still be improved on as this year goes along?
I think everything can be improved in as the year goes on. But, we were spoiled with, had Drew O'Brien, and then we had Brandon Brown and Dante Brown. I mean, those were some tremendous kickers, and I think Fernando is a great kicker as well, and Parker Jenke. I mean, those guys are good kickers, and they can get the job done. It's been a long time. It's really their first game situation with us as well, and understanding the situations. But I see them make those kicks in practice, and I wouldn't attempt those kicks if I didn't think they could make those. And I know they can get it done, but I think we can improve everywhere. Even coverage, on kickoff one time was bad, and just different things like that we can do better. Our punts can be a little bit deeper than what they were. We get a little more distance on our punts and better coverage as well. So it's just a mixture of things that as a staff and as a team, we got to work on and get better at.
Well, and you mentioned kickoffs and punts and the coverage, but that's one thing that Dante did so well. I mean, near the goal line, get some height on the kicks to allow coverage, and a lot of them are more low line drive kicks. I'm sure an area that you guys have been working on and addressing, but boy, that you can see what a difference that makes when you're a line drive kick's just harder to get down and cover.
It is, because it just gives them more time to see the field and lets them set up their blocks a little bit easier. When you get that hot ball high in the air, you got more time to cover and get closer to the return guy, and we didn't have that. So it's something we did address this week, and we're working on, and hopefully it's cleaned up and it looks a lot better on Thursday.
Well, we always hear a lot, teams improve the most between week 1 and week 2. I mean, do you buy that? I mean, and I'm sure it's natural you get that first game in, but is it a gradual thing? I mean, I've heard coaches say that for eternity. Week 1 to week 2 is the most improvement you make all year.
I don't know if I believe it or not. I mean, I really don't. I think if you win the game, nobody really even says it, right?
Yeah,
but
point.
If you lose the game, look at the improvement they made because they won the second. You know what I mean? So either way, I mean, I think you gradually improve as the year goes on, and hopefully you're playing your best ball towards the end of the season, and you've done enough through the season to put yourself in playoff contention. So I think it's just a gradual thing that kids just continue to get better week in and week out, and you change things tremendously each week, and a lot of times it's the opponent you're playing. Sometimes you have really good strengths against an opponent, and sometimes you're really weak. So it just depends on what team you're playing and how your team matches up. And I think we match up with Northwest pretty good. I think we match up with Mo West coming up here pretty good as well. But then there's other teams in our conference I don't know how we really match up, just whether it's the front lines or whether it's the skill guys. So it's week to week, but in this conference, every week matters.
Well, we'll talk more about the Griffins here shortly as the Tigers get set to face Missouri Western at Spratt Stadium this Thursday night. We're live at the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus in Hayes. They've got daily food and drink specials, so stop on by and, of course, get your game weekend started right, or your post-game gathering. Of course, they'll have all the college football games on this weekend here at the Golden Q. If the game's on, they're open. We will take another break. More to come from Tiger Talk. We're live at the Golden Q here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here.
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
3rd down and 7. Tigers at their own 4, down 9-0. A little over 6 to go in third. 4 in the shotgun, throws downfield. He's got a man open. Birchfield, 40, 45, 50, and then steps out of bounds. And then a flag comes out. We're going to get a face mask at the end of this one. Some of the highlights from Thursday night, Fort Hays State and Northwest Missouri State. Fort Hays State coming up short in that one, however, as they put up a good fight but come up a little bit short, falling to the Bearcats by the final of 15-7, getting set to hit the road. They'll be in action this Thursday night in St. Joe against Missouri Western. Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI. They're your John Deere dealer. Buckland, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. Again, if you want to submit a question for the coach, chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Golden Q, all you have to do is go to the FHSU Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. Look for the fan zone on the front page. Hover over that. There'll be a drop-down menu. You'll see Tiger Talk. You can submit your question. And we did have a question submitted to us. Coach wanted to know that even though it was a loss on Thursday, do you think there is such a thing as a good loss?
I mean, all losses aren't good. I mean, but I do feel like, our kids played pretty well in the situations that we were put in. We did what we could. I mean, I still think there's a couple of things here and there that we could learn from, and that's something about a loss that you usually learn more from a loss than you do a win, and that's what I can take away from that. we did learn, okay, we got to do better on first down defensively. Special teams wise, we got to change field position. Offensively, we got to, get some first downs, when we are backed up and catch some of those balls that, in those situations and taking advantage of opportunities, when they arise. We were given some opportunities and we just didn't take advantage of them. And, if we make a couple field goals, then this game might be a totally different game. But, you do learn a lot more from a loss than you do a win. And, that's what I'll take. That's what I can say about. It's not a good loss. I mean, every loss is not good, but that's the good thing that comes out of this game is, there's some things that we can see that we need to work on and what we got to get better at. And
this was against the number 4 team in the country, which I think if, folks saw that game and you're not that far. I mean, you're right there against a top 5 team, and if you said a few plays, make a few catches in the first half, clean up a few things, you have every chance to win that football game. And then we're talking about a win over a top 4 team in the country, and we're excited. So I think the future for this team and for this season, very, very bright.
Yeah, as long as they keep their minds right and believe in themselves and have the confidence as coaches have in them right now, that I truly feel this could be a really good football team. I think we have everything we need to be a great football team. I think we've got the offense. I think we've got the defense. I do believe we have the special teams guys to get things done. It's just putting everything together, and that's how you win ball games. All 3 facets of the game have to be on the same page during the game, and we just got to pick each other up and keep plugging forward and go get better, and that's what our kids did this week.
Another Thursday night game, and I know the first one was on Thursday, but you're coming off a camp, and you probably can, build your camp around a Thursday night game, but then having a second one and then on the road, what are the challenges there? Is that a big deal? Does it make a big difference?
I kind of like, honestly, as a coach, being on the road is nice. I love playing in front of our home crowd, don't get me wrong, but on the road you have them, on the night before a game, in the hotel room. You have all these meetings. We have meetings as well, but it's just a little bit more. It's just us, and we don't have all the distractions around us where, we can lock them in their hotel room and keep them, they're good kids. But it's just when we want to get to them, we can get to them, and they're all right there, and we're eating every meal together, besides just, the pregame meal. And it's just, building those bonds amongst one another, and the kids are around each other a little bit more, and they start to care about each other a little bit more as well. And it's just that the bonding on the road is just, it's awesome to see, and just the things we're able to do as coaches with our players on the road as well is nice.
A night road game. You mentioned, having the meetings. How do you kill time? I mean, that's, one thing when it's a Saturday afternoon game and you get up, you have your pregame breakfast, meal, whatever, your meetings, boom, you get in the bus, you go to the stadium, play a game. You've got a full day to kill. How do you guys handle that?
We'll get them out in the morning, probably around 8:30, eat breakfast, and then after breakfast we'll have, special teams meeting, offensive meetings, defensive meetings. Let them rest a little bit, in their rooms, and then, then we'll have pregame meal. Then, we'll have pregame meal about an hour early. We'll do chapel before pregame meal, which it's usually 4.5 hours before the game. We do chapel. This time it's going to be like 5.5 hours before the game. Then we'll have pregame meal 4.5 hours before, and then we're actually going to stay in Kansas City and drive to St. Joe. So it gives us a little bit more time so we're not laying around, sitting around the hotel room to get our kids ready.
All right. Well, that's always interesting, and I know sometimes coaches wish you'd play at 11 a.m. every time, and essentially just get up, boom, go play your game, and be done with it. But it does make it, I'm sure, a little bit challenging on the road. Not just the idle time, but just to keeping kids engaged and all those things that go with it.
It is just those. When it's 1 o'clock on the road game, it's you get up, eat breakfast, and you go play. But when it's a night game, it's hard, on your team, and we just got to make sure that they stay focused, locked in, and make sure they're getting the rest they need, and make sure we're feeding properly and they're staying hydrated, and just doing every little thing that we can to make sure that our kids are ready to play on Thursday.
Tiger Talk brought to you by G&L Tire and Automotive. Before you hit the road, like the Tigers will be doing later tomorrow, stop by G&L Tire and Automotive. Tires for all driving needs and budgets, complete automotive service and repair, and you'll always get a free estimate before any work is done. G&L Tire and Automotive, they're on the bricks in downtown Hayes. We will take our final break. When we come back, we'll preview Thursday night, the Tigers in St. Joe, Spratt Memorial Stadium, taking on the Missouri Western Griffins. We'll tell you about it when we return here on Tiger Talk along the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a Listen Live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
There's the snap, full to throw, with time, steps up, home run ball, Soto open, he catches, touchdown! Fort Hays State on 4th down and 7. They go 36 yards, and the Tigers are on the board with 5 minutes to go in the third. Well, Tiger Talk brought to you by the Taco Shop. Dine and carry out or fast delivery. The Taco Shop just east of campus. You've never had it so good. Gutsy 4th down call there. Worked out for what proved to be your only touchdown of the ball game. But was it never in doubt you're going to go for it on 4th down? Just kind of the way the game was unfolding. That was obviously a key situation that got you right back in the ball game.
It's just kind of the way the game was going. We missed the first field goal, and it was just kind of a situation there where it was kind of maybe out of his range a little bit, but too close to really punt. And a situation there that we need to score some points and get some points on the board. So I let Coach Bryant know, hey, we're going to go for it, and do you got something for this? And he goes, I think so. So he called the perfect play at the perfect time, and it worked out for us.
Well, now you're on the road for the first time in a while. You'll be on the road at Missouri Western, Spratt Memorial Stadium. The Griffins had a great second half comeback bid and lost 24-20 at Central Oklahoma in their opener last Thursday night. I guess just your overall thoughts on Missouri Western. You look at them, experienced veteran defense, very young and inexperienced offense.
Yeah, you do, and it's you kind of look at us, we got some experience, I feel like, on offense, but we also got a lot of young guys that are inexperienced, and the same with our defense. We're got some guys that have experience and don't, but it'll be an interesting game. They're going to be hungry for a win as well. They had a good fight there in UCO, and they're going to be looking to get that W just as well as us. And we haven't played very well against them. When you look at 17-18, 18-19, we hadn't played well, and we had a lot of turnovers, inside the red zone that kept points off the board, and then just had some mistakes in that game that really cost us. So hopefully we clean that up. We play a clean game and we get after them a little bit. But they're a very good football team, and they're going to do everything they can to win.
You can almost point in each of those two seasons in which you came up just short of a playoff berth, a loss to Missouri Western as maybe the key game that kept you out.
Yeah, it is, and we got to do a good job of making sure we're going down there, we're prepared, and I think our kids have done that. But we got to come out and play fast and get on them early. And they're a team they're solid. I mean, they're good on defense. They run to the ball well. They play physical, and offensively, same way. They got a quarterback that's pretty good. He's got some time underneath his belt, and they all have a game underneath him now. So they're going to be hungry just like we are. So I'm expecting a good battle.
It seems like there's been just some kind of just weird things, weird plays. I remember like one near a punt into the chest of a linebacker, and he ends up returning it for a big play. Just some crazy things that have kind of gone against you when you play Missouri Western for whatever reason.
It is, and just I think we had like 6 turnovers in the red zone in those two games combined, and it's just tip balls. Guys in position to make the play, they just slips out of their hands, and and they pick it off, or somebody just not doing their job, and it costs us. So hopefully, we talked about to our kids this week about all the little things that go into winning a ball game, and it's the details and doing your job every single time to the best of your ability and doing it hard. So hopefully we do that, and we come out on top.
And it's a road game, and we kind of touched on playing on the road, but that'll be a new experience, basically for the young guys playing for the first time away from home, and how they handle that. And I guess that's where you lean on your veterans to try to work them through those situations.
Yeah, you do, and that's how you kind of match them up in their hotel room. A veteran with a younger guy, just let them know how we do things. And it's pretty low key, it's pretty laid back, and guys are doing what they're supposed to do and getting themselves ready. But it's preparation throughout the week and preparation while you get on the road. But hopefully we come back with this W.
All right, sounds good, Coach. As always, we appreciate it. Have a good, practice today, and short one tomorrow, and safe trip, and we'll see you in St. Joseph Thursday night.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Gerard.
That's head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, they'll kick at 7 from Spratt Memorial Stadium. We'll be on the air with the Auto World pregame show at 6 o'clock on Tiger Radio Mix 103. Tiger Talk brought to you this afternoon by Adams Brown, the Hayes Orthopedic Institute, Golden Belt Bank, BTI, the Taco Shop, and G&L Tire and Automotive. And, of course, we're live at the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus, the Golden Q. If the game's on, they're open. You can catch the video replay on Hayes Post if you missed the program live today. That's going to wrap it up for Tiger Talk. For Coach Chris Brown, Gerard Walbrock. So long, everyone.